So you've been involved in a motor vehicle accident that wasn't your fault. You've contacted your insurance company, you're making your claim, you state when it's time to discuss the accident that had happened on North Road and South Road in Direction Town. You were travelling along on North Road, left-hand lane, other persons failed to give way from a stop sign on South Road and they've impacted the front left of your car. The insurance claims consultant takes that information, says they'll follow it up and they'll get back to you regarding an excess. A few days later, you get a phone call. They've contacted the other party or they've contacted the other party's insurer and there's a discrepancy in where the accident actually happened. You've said one thing, but the other party has said another, a road or intersection slightly up the road where there doesn't appear to be a stop sign or the variables of the road are different for some reason. Well, could be a false lodgement, could be confusion, could be a simple misunderstanding, but where the buck stops for you is you've got to make sure that you get that excess waived and you've got to make sure that all liability is clear so you can get that not-at-fault rental vehicle when you call the not-at-fault rental company the day after. How do you do that? How do you verify where the accident actually happened? Well, you know a few things. You know when the accident happened, you and the other driver pulled over just to the side of the road where the accident happened. You got out of your car and you started taking photos of each other's licenses and registration plates. You also had location services turned on for your phone, which means you actually have the GPS coordinates of where the accident happened. Now, typically when there is a dispute or discrepancy in terms of where an accident happened, an insurance company will do a few things. They'll contact both parties again just to double check where the incident location actually was. If that's inconsistent, they'll send out a version and diagram for you to complete. However, if both those points come back inconsistent, it can be challenging and cause you a lot of stress trying to make sure that the excess can get waived or you can get your not-at-fault rental vehicle or whatever it happens to be that you're trying to do based on the liability of the accident. One thing that I never actually see people do, surprisingly, consumers or insurers, is requisition metadata from photos that were taken at the time of the accident. You see, if you're not aware, if you're on an Android or iPhone device, if you have the location services turned on, when you do your happy snaps of the licenses and rego plates after the accident when you've pulled over, you will actually notice that in the file data, whether you're aware of it or not, they actually stamp the GPS location, and it's quite accurate. Now, if you're not a tech-savvy person, I understand that can seem a little bit complicated to try and extract, but let me walk you through a few ways that you can easily identify it, easily extract it, and present it in a palatable way to an insurer or a not-at-fault rental company, and hopefully clarify those discrepancies.
So, first thing you're going to want to do, open up the App Store, look for a program called EXIF Metadata. As always, not endorsed, it's just the first one that I found. It's going to make you interpreting the metadata to be able to extract it in a more easier fashion. Once you've actually got the metadata, bring up the actual photos themselves. It will probably ask you permissions to actually open it on your phone. Allow that temporarily. You're not going to use this forever, but it can be useful in the meantime. As you bring it up, what you're going to notice is if you pick a photo, any random photo, here's one I prepared earlier, it will show you the actual photo itself, the time, the date, etc., etc. If you scroll through, then what you shall see, gone too far, you'll have the latitude, longitude, etc., and a bit of a pin as to where it was. Curiously, or interestingly, I should say, it will actually show you the exact time that the photo was taken and the day that it was last edited. Yes? So, taking a look at that, quite interesting. You can get a general gist of what is what. No particular problem with that at all. So, how do you actually interpret that? Well, if you take that address, okay, you take that latitude, you type it in as you see there, you type that in as you see there, and you would go over to, let's just say, Google Maps. If you actually then punch it in, just as you see here, it will actually bring it up. You can zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, and you can see that at the time that I had taken that exact photo, I was in fact here. There is no if, but, or maybe about it. That is where I was standing. So, that is to say, if an individual said that the accident happened perhaps on Kent Street over here, and you pulled over to exchange details, and in fact you were stating that it was King Street, and you pulled over to exchange details, and you're quite certain it was near King Street and Wharf Road, as it was, well, it does seem implausible, logically, that if an accident happened here, you would go around here, go over here, go all the way over here, and exchange details here. No, you'd pull over on the side of the road, etc., etc. So not entirely an accurate science, but if you're trying to establish what is more plausible, based on what? Based on specific pieces of information, you can use metadata, particularly accurate metadata, such as you've got with these particular location settings turned on, to hopefully achieve a positive result.
Now, yes, I do appreciate this is a little bit of an unorthodox approach to trying to verify an accident location, and it won't be applicable to all scenarios. But if it is that you're in a situation, it's worth trying to utilize, because it may mean the difference between having to pay an excess or having an excess waived, or perhaps clarifying a liability dispute that might affect you getting your not-at-fault rental vehicle. Hopefully you found this informative. If you have, as always, like, subscribe, do the thing, you know the drill. And as always, have yourself a lovely afternoon, a fantastic day, keep safe, drive safe, and all the best.